What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'll be playing the Easter tree map on expert difficulty, and this is also one of the community maps that I thought had an interesting mechanic. And I'll also be using a deck where sort of like most people won't really play these cards because it is Easter or Resurrection weekend. I decide to play these cards as a sort of resurrecting these cards to play an actual game. As you can see, there's quite a bit of interesting cards over here, and let's see how I'll make this game work. But before we begin, of course, because it is a community map, I want to rate how good this community map is. For playability, I'll rate it a 8.5 out of 10. I really had quite fun playing this map. So the Easter tree is basically like a remake of the Soul Tree map, with some differences, and I love how the game objective is to like collect pieces of the Easter egg and then bring it to the tree. The objectives are pretty fun in this map. And secondly, moving on to the map and story design, I rate the map and story design an 8 out of 10 because it's from the original Soul Tree map. But there's the area where the middle region where usually for the Soul Tree map there is like a plain like canyon, but for this Easter tree there are enemy camps and the monuments right in the middle of the Soul Tree map. So I thought that was a very good use of space for the map, and also for the story of making sure like this enforcer to collect all the egg shells and return the egg to its original place. If that was the story, I thought it was pretty good, even though there wasn't a lot of the dialogues there. And of course, lastly for challenge, I'll rate it a 2 out of 5 because it's not really a very challenging map. It's a doable map, but I wouldn't say that it's completely easy. If you don't really have the right cards to play the map, the beginning will be pretty tough. Which brings the score to a total of 18.5 out of 25. It's not a bad score. Yeah, so without further ado, let's take a look at my run. It will take quite a long time because my deck is an unusual deck. Yeah, so we have the Egg Forcer, and for this map it's a little bit difficult at the start because you have to make sure to destroy all the towers and the units, because if your Egg Forcer die, you will lose. Yeah, the caveat is you can't control the Egg Forcer until you have eliminated all of the enemy units. Yeah, and as you can see, for my first group of units I have Tux, and I realized Tux is a pretty good unit because of its buff. It has the gang up, which helps to distribute damage equally amongst the orc units. So I thought this was a very good combo to have with strikers. I have strikers in my deck too, and for Tux, because I chose them to attack to eliminate the small units, and for the strikers are for the medium units as they have medium counter. They have also have the charge ability, so having them to aim a large unit would first deal a little more damage to them. The reason why some of these units are not used very commonly, especially for strikers, is because I think it's more of a PvP unit, and it costs 90 power to summon this unit, which is pretty overpriced, I feel. Yeah, so I have a lot of my units to attack all these Twilight units, and because of its gang up ability, it helps my units to stay alive, and I will just have to summon more new units coming on to help distribute the damage more. As you can see, my units take quite a long time to die, even when they are on the brink of death. Yep, so we'll move forward a little bit, and we have to also defend our base here at the bottom because there are the Twilight units that spawn from the Twilight Manifestation base. Yeah, so I have my makeshift tower to just knock back these little archers, and my defense towers to aim the Twilight Hex. Yeah, so this is pretty much my defense. Obviously my defense tower cannot be kept alive, so I have to keep building makeshift towers to aid my defense towers, but sooner or later my defenses and my base will be destroyed because I don't really have good towers. And the twilight hacks are pretty strong. I don't have any like large units, so every unit that the twilight hack hits, it will knock back my units. So knowing that I have a time limit, I have to quickly take down the base at the bottom to secure my second op, so I have better defenses or even better units. Just to clear this small stone kin unit. And I have to build some makeshift towers here to aid my attempt, but I think one of my units got too close and lured the entire camp, so it's kind of difficult for me to defeat these units without towers because of my little units, my little tugs and strikers. And the twilight hacks always knock back my small units. So yeah, make sure your egg forcer doesn't die. When it's on low health, you have to send it back to camp to heal. What happened here was pretty good because it kind of like lure some of the twilight units out and kill some of it, so the forces here will be weaker. The bottom camp. Yeah, we have to defend the base again. Yeah, my last defense tower will be going down pretty soon, and which means that this is the last wave I could defend effectively. So my next attack over at the twilight camp here, it has to succeed. Alright, let's go. Building some towers. Okay, we are doing well. Got quite a bit of units. The main thing is to take down the twilight horror, which is the strongest unit here. Alright, once the twilight horror is down, we know that we can defeat this camp. But yeah, we have to destroy the spawning base because, as you can see, it spawns quite a bit of units. And my egg forcer nearly died and nearly lost the game. Yep, so I have to get rid of the units so I can build my second op and defend my base. Like now, it's under attack. And for my second op, I have my Veil Blood, and it is quite a very good unit, but I feel like it's still pretty rarely used. But for Veil Blood, I would say that it is probably one of the cards in my deck that is on the more used scale. And of course, as I'm playing my current deck, I know why some of these cards are rarely used, because they're not as efficient. There are many more cards in the game that can probably replace the cards that I'm playing, so just not a very effective way to play the cards I'm playing. Yeah, and I have to get my egg here, eggshell, so I have my mock leg trap to just get rid of the units. So as you can see, it's pretty effective, and you don't have to destroy the buildings here because you just want to get the eggshell. And yep, you can just destroy the buildings. And over here, because it's quite a gigantic base with pretty strong units, my goal here is to build a couple of mock leg traps to destroy the units here. Yeah, unfortunately, when I was building the mock leg trap, a new twilight unit spawned, so it was not part of my plan to get attacked by the entire camp. Yeah, as you can see, very effective, the mock leg trap. I like to use its ability so that it has this like forward detonation momentum blow. Just have to build a couple of mock leg traps here, and it should kind of like destroy the large units, except for the Twilight Abomination. It's a special case for that extra large unit. But let's speed up a little and lure the units, and yeah, we'll just explode all of these mock leg traps. As you can see, it's pretty effective, and take down the Twilight camp. Yep, the Twilight manifestation base really had quite a lot of units spawn, so I had a difficult time. And my Ray of Light for heals is a rarely used healing spell. People usually use like Surge of Light and Regrowth, or even Equilibrium, but not Ray of Light, because Ray of Light really heals too slowly. Alright, I got my final eggshell, and we have the Easter egg that is spawned. So how you move this Easter egg is to have the egg forcer charge it, and it will move slowly. You cannot have any normal attacks against it. Only Only charge would work for the Easter egg, I think. So far from my experience, only charging would move the Easter egg. And now I have my third orb, and I'll have a couple of units to aid me in this quest of destroying the Twilight base. However, for the first things first, we will be building the Mind Weaver. It's a ultra rare nature building that I've never really seen people play, so I'll be playing this today. The main purpose of playing this building is, of course, its ability, the Edict of Command, which helps me to control enemy units, and I think it's very good. I'll be controlling the Death Glider just to help me destroy some of the base and get rid of the units. And I have my Vulcan, which is also a card that is rarely used. Let's get rid of the fire emitter, lure the units in so I can control the Twilight Horrors. Sadly, the Easter is getting in the way of my building attacking the Twilight units, but that's not a problem at all. Yeah, so here is a slow push because I don't have any cards that which have quite a bit of firepower. Oh, as you can see, my Ray of Light has been effectiveness has been increased dramatically because I have my Healing Gardens. So the purpose of Healing Gardens is to boost my Ray of Light, and it's also a card that is not used very often, so I guess that qualifies as a card in my deck. The problem here is the Wheel Zapper, so I have to get rid of the Wheel Zapper quickly. Yes, it's almost down, and yep. Next up is to destroy the Twilight Infestation base. The annoying Death Gliders again. They do quite a bit of damage to my units. Yep, and I have my Sun Reaver because Sun Reavers actually deals quite a bit of damage, but the only thing that is lacking for them is that they are melee units. So not as effective as all the ranged units. Yeah, and they cost quite a bit, and I'll rather use Thornbark than Sun Reaver because Thornbark has range. Yep, luring the Twilight units back so that my towers will assist in killing them. And now I got my fourth orb, and my fourth orb I'll be using Boom Brothers. Boom Brothers are quite underrated because their boom skill is insanely good, very effective. But doesn't really help for flying units. And I have my Tempest. It's also a unit that I've never seen people play, but because of their buff and their ranged, I think it's pretty good. And yeah, as you can see, they have quite a bit of like distance. They can shoot from afar, and they don't have any like days. They won't be dazed when they are summoned, so it has been improved. Not only do they not have days, but when they are spawned, so similar to Ember Strike, damaging units when it spawns. Tempest, it freezes units when it spawns, so it really gives time for the Tempest to go into its attacking ability and make sure that it's not getting killed while it can't even attack. So I thought that was a pretty good buff made by the Skylords Reborn team, and yeah, it's very strong. As you can see, crazy firepower from the Tempest. Of course, it only works well in big numbers for Tempest. Yeah, so we are kind of like done with the map. All I need to do is push the Easter egg. So let's just fast forward this part. And yeah, this is how I complete the Easter tree on expert difficulty by using cards that are rarely used. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I see you guys from the next Skylords Reborn video.